Hello, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is a weekend transfer update. Lots going on with Manchester United at the moment. We're going to be talking about Ligt, Tielemans, Bruno Fernandes and a few others. But let's start off with Ligt from Ajax. There is so much momentum around this and a lot of it kicked off last night. The situation with Ligt is, has he agreed a deal with Manchester United? No, he hasn't. Have we agreed a deal with Ajax? Maybe. Have we offered him more money than Barcelona? Probably. But the stuff that's floating out there, I mean, realistically, you may as well, as I said last night, take my lie that yes, we've agreed a term and he's waiting with Barcelona to find out whether they come back with a better deal. There is nobody of credibility talking about Ligt to Manchester United, and this is where I'm not jumping on the Ligt bus. I would love him to come to Manchester United, but I'm not jumping on the Ligt bus. And if we do sign him, I'm not going to believe any of the people saying that we're going to sign him either, because you've got no credibility. Just because you're on a forum or just because you've got a fake bloody journalist name on Twitter, where's your credibility? Because what you normally do is you say something, then you delete that tweet and you just keep the ones where you get it right. The point is, Simon Stone's not said anything about it. I think he's very, very credible from the BBC. Nobody of credibility is saying much about Ligt. It doesn't mean we're not going to sign him. I think it'd be a fantastic signing. 19 years of age, leader, one of the best. I think he's the best young centre-back in the world. But to me, that's where I'm concerned about this deal, because Barcelona have gone out of the Champions League in the semi-final stage. Was it the quarter-final stage with Roma the year before? Where they've had a big lead and they've lost it because of bad defending. And here they have a situation where Ligt wants to go to Barcelona, and he is one of the best centre-backs in the world at the moment, and they're going to let him go when Barcelona's big problem is defence. I just don't see Barcelona letting him out of their clutches. And look, I know there was an interview a year ago with De Jong and Ligt, and De Jong said his dream was Barcelona, and Ligt said his wasn't, it was to come to England. There is a possibility, and nobody more than me wants him to come. I think he'd be absolutely perfect for us, but there's still Koulibaly if this doesn't happen. And What is the belief around Ligt coming to Manchester United? Where is the credible source that he's coming to United? His agent's Mino Raiola. We know Manchester United get used by absolutely everybody. I saw a tweet this morning and it made me laugh, and it was something like, well done to Griezmann and Ligt for using Manchester United to get the deal they want at Barcelona, and that may well be the case. We're up against it pulling this deal off. If we do pull it off, we're chucking a load of money at him anyway, which some fans are like, I don't really want that sort of player. For me, I would, because I think De Ligt's a very different type of player. You chuck a load of money at Bale, he's coming towards the end of his career. You chuck a load of money at De Ligt, all right, we're offering him money, but he's not even on Twitter, is he? So he's a lad who's got a bit of sense straight away, and I think he the more money at Manchester United would be great, but he's probably thinking, well, actually, I can go and do something there. So let's see what happens with it. But I personally think, well, look, the European leagues are only just coming to an end. And if he was going to sign for Barcelona anyway, I don't think that was going to get announced until early June anyway. So the next couple of weeks will be pretty key. But you can flip it the other way. Yes, United have offered Ajax what they want, and we've offered them more money than Barcelona in wages for De Ligt. Or you can flip it the other way and say he's always been signing for Barcelona, they're just waiting for the season to be over. And I know I would lean towards that because I really want him to sign for us. But look, you cannot. You can do what you bloody well like. Of course you can. But I do transfer daily, and I've been doing it every year for the last 4 or 5 years. And the day I start listening to people on forums and Reddit groups and Twitter is the day I'll stop doing it, because maybe the people with the best sources are the people who are the most credible. Your DiMarzios, your Simon Stones, your people like that. They've not really said anything about De Ligt, and that's quite telling. And I guarantee those journalists would be monitoring it and going, what's going on with this De Ligt thing then? And they're not saying anything because I just think it's all paper talk, and I think it's speculation. And to be honest with you, that makes me feel that we are being used to bump up the figure that they want from Barcelona. It's simple economics. If you want to go to a certain job and you're going to leave your current job, but you really want this job, and then they're like, yeah, we want you, but we're not going to offer you this much money. And then you go, well, I've been offered this other job, I don't really want it, but they've offered me double the wage. And you go to them and say, they've offered double me the wage, what are you going to do? Well, we're not going to double it, but we'll offer you a little bit more. Fine, I'll sign there. And that's the feel of it. I'd love him to come to us, but I think this is so. It amazes me how many people fall into the trap of in the nose on Twitter, especially. It really does. And it's up to you, but to be honest with you, I love transfer news. I love it, absolutely love it. People know that, but I cannot invest or engage in people on Twitter, especially, who are pretending they've got information, because I've seen over the years that they'll delete the ones they get wrong and they keep up the ones they get right, and they'll tweet loads of stuff, and then people will go back and go, they got this right, they got this right, they got this right. I've heard these same sources saying this week, we're going to make a signing in the next 24 hours. well, that was a week ago. So where's the signing? So, but they'll hide behind it and say, oh, it changed at the last minute. It's very easy to be in the know. But with De Ligt, fantastic signing for United. But at the moment, I'm not totally excited about it, even though a lot of people seem to think it's real. And it's the people I feel sorry for the most are the people who are casual viewers of social media, because they'll go on. I even saw a fake BBC Sports journalist yesterday saying that we'd offered £250,000 and the deal was nearly done. Yeah, it's not nearly done. I don't think it'll be happening anytime. And even if he goes to Barcelona, I don't think it'll happen anytime in the next week. The next player I do want to talk about, and this is coming from Belgian sources, so it's not Twitter, thank God, Yuri Tielemans to Manchester United. Now, this is a midfielder I can get very excited about. You know, forget this centre-back situation for the weekend. I think that Yuri Tielemans would be brilliant. I think if you'd said to me a year ago, Yuri Tielemans, and he'd been playing well for Monaco, I would have been like, But the fact he spent the last 4 or 5 months at Leicester in the Premier League and done very well there, it proves that, you know, he can make that step into the Premier League, and he's done it with a team that's, you know, a mid-table team, sort of. Leicester, I know they're quite slightly higher than that, against good opposition as well. Leicester had some really tough fixtures under Brendan Rodgers towards the end. So the latest with Yuri Tielemans is that Manchester United have held talks with him as well as Leicester. This is from a Belgian journalist, and effectively Yuri Tielemans is happy to go to Leicester, but he may be priced out of a move now, because initially Monaco were looking for 40 million, but because of how well he's done and because of the interest in him, that price might go up to beyond 50 million, which is something that Leicester may not be able to afford without selling Harry Maguire. And then Harry Maguire may be a target for us or Man City. With Yuri Tielemans, I think that we've lost a very good midfielder. I know not a lot of people agree with me, but with Ander Herrera, I think we've lost a very good midfielder. If you bring Yuri Tielemans in at his age, early 20s, I think he's got the potential to really, you know, I'm not going to say he's going to be one of the best midfielders in the world over the next 5 years. Maybe he could be, but I certainly think he can be better than Herrera, and as the replacement for Herrera, I think he'd be a very, very good signing. And I think, you know what, 40 to 50 million quid, he's well worth it. And I hope United are in for him, because I think we've been given a big... I'd almost feel sorry for Leicester, because I think Leicester have shown that this lad can play in the Premier League, and then they may not get him. But from our point of view, it's like, well, we've got that Premier League proven player now, and we can go and get him. So hopefully Manchester United are in for Yuri Tielemans. I don't know what you think about him. To be honest with you, the two ideal midfield signings for me this summer, looking at the situation at the moment, would be Tielemans and Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid. You'd get both for less than £100 million. I think you'd get Tielemans for about 45, and Partey's release clause is 43.5. So both of those players for actually less than 90 million. I mean, that would be fantastic business for United. We do need two midfielders. I'm concerned that we'll just bring one in. We need two. I don't want to be going into next season with one midfielder and then we're relying on Matic, McTominay, Fred, Pereira to produce the form. I want two midfielders, and if that lot can then, you know, excel and fight the two new signings, great. But I don't want status quo, comfortability. I want two new signings in that midfield situation. One to replace Herrera, one to replace Fellaini. So Partey and Tielemans would be very interesting for me. Don't know what your thoughts are on that. What two midfielders would you go for? And then Bruno Fernandes. Now, if you've been watching Transfer Daily, you'll see my hotometer comes up every now and again. Nothing like that. But so basically, I rank out of 10 who I think are the most likely United signings. At the moment, Daniel James has moved top there, but the one who's been consistently in the top two is Bruno Fernandes. I've always ranked that deal as about 60% chance that he'll come to Manchester United. One, because I was told it a couple of months ago by two separate people, and two, it's very obvious that United have been scouting him, and three, you know, he's one of the best attacking midfielders, stroke centre midfielders out there at the moment, and he would be well worth pursuing for Manchester United. He's spoken about his dream of playing in England. They've got a cup final this weekend, I believe, and he's spoken about, look, I don't know what my future is at the moment, we'll sit down and see, but I've kept no secret of the fact that I do want to play for Sporting Lisbon. That's flex about United Stand FC. Let me just knock that into silence. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes would be absolutely fantastic for Manchester United. I do think we'll sign Bruno Fernandes, and look, you know, this is how I work. I think we're in for Koulibaly. I've not been told that by anybody. I just look at the situation. I knew Mourinho wanted to sign him. Mourinho got the sack. United wouldn't just throw that transfer list in the bin. They'd look at it with Solskjaer, and I think people like Milinkovic-Savic, Perisic, they would have been discarded. I don't want those, but I think Koulibaly, they would have looked at it and gone, actually, you know, the work we've done on that deal, let's continue, let's see what we can do. That's just my theory about Koulibaly. I've been consistent about that for the last 6-7 months, and I think we're in for Koulibaly. I've not been told by an in the know, I've not got any sources, I just think we're in for Koulibaly. With Bruno Fernandes, again, I think that we are in for him, and I do think that we will sign him. he will either come to Manchester United or Manchester City. And this is like, if he goes to Man City, I won't be held to account saying, oh, you said we were going to sign him. I'm not 100% saying we're signing him. I think there's a 60% chance. I think United want to sign him. I think it'd be a good signing. But if he goes to Man City, I think we'd have to just sit there and go, well, I'm not going to say, oh, we were never in for him anyway. I will say, well, he's a good signing for Man City. Surprise, surprise. Most of their signings are very good. They are, unfortunately. You look at the signings that Pep's made. I know there's been a few, one or two sort of flops, but in the main, especially in relation to the attacking players, they've been very, very good. And if he chooses Man City over Manchester United, as much as I pain to say it, what he really, to pickers, you need to look at fan base, history, what the club's all about, the size of the club, what it means, the fan base, etc. If he picks Man City, he's going to be looking at style of football, manager, Champions League football, and the chance to win trophies. And you can't begrudge him that. You basically go into a soulless club, and when you win a trophy, there'll only be one man and his dog there to celebrate with you. But you know, in a footballing sense, it's a safer bet than Manchester United. We are a step into the unknown. We are living. I know people take the mickey out of Liverpool for living in the past, but we are a club that when we sign these players, we are living off the brand Manchester United. We're Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. We can't offer you definite titles. We can't even offer you that we're going to play a good brand of football. We're going to try and do that. We're going to try and get Manchester United back. And some players will be intrigued by that, and I hope that he is. I really do like the look of Bruno Fernandes, and I hope that something happens with it. And I do think he's going to come to England, and I do think he'll come to Manchester United. That's just my feeling. And if he doesn't, I think he'll go to Manchester City. But I really would like him. So give us your thoughts on Bruno Fernandes. Tielemans, De Ligt. Are you falling for the trap? Do you think he will come? Finally, I just want to talk about the striker options. I know last night we were talking about Moussa Dembele from Lyon. If we sign him, great. I think he's a young player, he's hungry, etc., etc. If we sell Lukaku, we cannot go into next season relying on Marcus Rashford. Now, I'm a fan of Marcus Rashford. I think he's a great, great talent. I think people get confused about this because I've been very critical of Rashford. But I've been critical of Martial. I've been critical of Lingard. I think all three, if they play to their extreme, which they should be in a United shirt, they can all be very, very useful for us. But we cannot go into next season with Rashford as the main guy, because I think I look at Rashford and I think he's drowning in his own talent. He's being played every week. He's been overplayed. He's playing with injuries. His confidence is on the floor. I think he needs somebody next to him who's very good to compete, to get the best out of him. If we go in up front with Rashford next season, you've got a striker who's closing his eyes when he's heading it at goal, who's kicking a ball like a balloon over the bar. We need somebody to compete with Rashford. So for me, I like the Pedro guy from Fluminense. I think he looks great. If we bring Dembele in, he's a young striker with lots of potential. I think he'd be very good as well. But get in the comments below, because there's more than that. That's the whole point of me bringing it up. If Lukaku goes, which striker would you bring in for United? I mean, I'd love Icardi. I'd love a straight swap. I just don't think Icardi and Manchester United are getting enough sort of traction. It's an obvious... There should be more about Icardi to Manchester United, because Inter want our striker. Why wouldn't we want theirs? There's not even talk of him coming to the Premier League, so I don't see it happening. But I like the lad from the Pedro from Fluminense. I hope there's something in those reports. I'm not Moussa Dembele. I think he's a little bit too similar to Martial and Rashford in relation to age, and you know, I'd like somebody with a little bit different about them. And what I've seen about this Pedro, he's got different ways of playing football. His hold-up play, he's stronger. He's more an all-round striker. But maybe Moussa Dembele can come that. But what other strikers? People are talking about Timo Werner. Get your thoughts in below. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm back live at 8 o'clock. We've got a United Stand FC game this afternoon, so keep an eye on Instagram at Goldbridge Mark. I'll be updating on there. Have a great day. Smash a like, subscribe to the video, and I hope you enjoyed the show. I just want to get... All we want to do on this show is give real opinion. So get your comments in below. It'd be very easy to go live and say, oh, I see all this talk on Twitter about De Ligt. It's definitely going to happen. But actually, when you scratch the surface, where's the credible one? Where's the credible one? At the moment, I'd love to sign him, but at the moment, there's not enough credible sources out there. You think I'm going to jump on a De Ligt to Manchester United train because people are saying, oh, I've been told this, and I'm on Reddit or I'm on Twitter. I'm sorry. You know, maybe there is a miracle that you're right, but why are you talking about it and no credible journalists? Because I don't think you're telling the truth. I think you're trying to get followers in a time where loads of people get followers because they start telling lies, effectively. So let's hope that there's something in it. And there are some good sources out there, but at the moment, not enough for me to think that De Ligt's coming. I think we're being used to Barcelona. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon. I'm off to go and calm Seb down.